Tonight, breaking news, the deadly storms in the Northeast, trees down on homes, one crashing into a propane tank, leading to a deadly home explosion. And in New York City, the close call. Authorities say a Southwest flight came dangerously close to the control tower. You will hear what air traffic controllers start saying. First tonight, that powerful and deadly nor'easter slamming the Northeast, blinding rain, dangerous winds. And in some places tonight, more than a foot of snow. A tree falling on that propane tank, then the explosion, the home destroyed. Lightning striking the Statue of Liberty. More than 500,000 without power tonight. Rob Marciano tracking this, and now the next storm coming. In New York City tonight, that close call, the FAA now investigating a Southwest flight, veering off course, flying dangerously close to the control tower while trying to land at LaGuardia. You will hear the plea from air traffic controllers. Tonight, President Biden's tense call with Prime Minister Netanyahu urging an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, what President Biden has warned. And tonight, news just coming in, what Israeli media is reporting at this hour, what the Israeli military has done after that deadly strike, killing 7 aid workers in that marked convoy. Back in the U.S. tonight, the attorney for Kansas City Chiefs star Rashee Rice confirming he was driving the Lamborghini in that high-speed crash with a Corvette, slamming into several vehicles in Dallas, including one with a mother and 4-year-old son. Will there be charges? Tonight, one of the biggest cash heists in Los Angeles history. Up to $30 million in cash stolen on Easter. How the thieves got in and out. Overseas tonight, the harrowing new images of the deadly earthquake in Taiwan. Huge boulders raining down on the road, one slamming into a car. The nurses protecting babies. Trapped hotel workers signaling to a drone. Tonight, hundreds still trapped or missing. 7 Americans now among those rescued today. Tonight, Donald Trump, the Florida judge rejecting Trump's attempt to dismiss the case against him. Just in tonight, images of the deadly crane collapse coming down and crushing a car. Tonight here, the women of the Final Four and the skyrocketing prices. Tickets for the women's Final Four now reaching more than $2,000 apiece, double the cost of a ticket to see the men. And the Eclipse across America will be on the air live on Monday afternoon to show you the whole thing. And tonight, right here, the new forecast, which cities will see it best.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Thursday night. We do have a lot to get to. That very close call at LaGuardia Airport, a passenger jet dangerously close to the control tower. The tense call between President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu. But we do begin tonight with this powerful and deadly nor'easter slamming the east, more than 500,000 without power as we come on tonight. And this storm has been deadly. The nor'easter barreling up I-95 today, now spinning off the coast of New England at this hour. The system now wrapping around, with more rain and snow expected in the next 24 hours. And in some places, well more than a foot of snow from this already. In New York City, nearly 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Look at this, lightning striking the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. The race tonight to get the lights back on, widespread outages across the region, particularly in New Hampshire, and nearly half of all customers in Maine now in the dark. In Derry, New Hampshire, a tree falling on a propane tank leading to a deadly home explosion. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano leading us off on this storm still churning and the next storm now coming.
Tonight, massive trees crushing homes, knocking out electricity as a powerful nor'easter turns deadly. In Derry, New Hampshire, one person was killed in a house fire when a tree fell on a propane tank and exploded.
There was a juvenile that was also in the home and has been transported to a Boston hospital at this time.
More than a foot of snow in parts of Maine. ABC's Morgan Norwood in South Portland.
Huge trees just like this are down all across the state, bringing down power lines and leaving more than 300,000 homes and businesses in the dark. You can see crews here are racing to get everything cleaned up, but look, it could be days before power is back on.
More than 700,000 homes and businesses losing power across nearly a dozen states. Chainsaws buzzing in the Bronx. Crews cleaning up one of hundreds of trees and limbs that came down around New York City. North of the city in Armonk, a 50-year-old mother and wife of a New York Yankees executive killed when her car was crushed by a falling tree. The nor'easter showing her teeth at high tide in Situate, Massachusetts. Massive waves crashing over the sea wall.
I could hear the wind. It sounded like a train at my house.
North of there in Salisbury, so much sea foam, they had to use plows to get it off the roads.
How bad do you think this storm is?
As bad as it gets.
The system also causing major disruptions to air travel. More than 13,000 flights canceled or delayed in the last 48 hours.
So let's bring in meteorologist Rob Marciano. He is live in Boston tonight. And Rob, of course, this is still churning as we're on the air here.
Yeah, you know, wind and wet snow, never a good combination. You're right. It's starting to weaken, but it's going to hang around for a couple of days. That's the bad news. So that means within the Gulf of Maine, we're going to see more in the way of snow, wet snow, 6 to 12 inches of it across northern New York and northern Vermont before it all winds down, but not really till Saturday. Meanwhile, the next storm is already hitting Northern California right now. San Francisco, you're getting heavy rain, snow into the mountains that slides into Southern California tomorrow. Wind as well. A lot of energy with this one. And guess what? It gets into the southern plains come Monday and Tuesday. A significant severe weather threat, especially for Texas come Monday afternoon. David?
And Rob, as you know, that's going to affect the eclipse viewing, and you're going to stick around and show us that forecast a bit later here. We'll see you then, Rob. Thank you. In the meantime, we turn out to that close call here in New York City tonight. The FAA now investigating a Southwest flight veering off course, flying, they say, dangerously close to the control tower while trying to land at LaGuardia Airport. You will hear the air traffic controllers and what they said as the plane grew closer. Gio Benitez covers aviation.
Tonight, news of a dangerous close call at one of the nation's busiest airports. A Southwest flight nearly slamming into the control tower.
Go around. Start on the heading, climb maintain 2,000. Climb maintain 2,000.
Federal investigators say severe weather, including high wind shear, forced that plane with 153 passengers and crew on board to veer off course at New York's LaGuardia Airport last month. The pilots aborting the first landing, performing a go-around. On the second landing attempt, the flight path shows the plane coming alarmingly close to the control tower.
Continue climbing. Southwest 147, and when able to say reason why you were not on the approach. Southwest 147, you with me?
Yep, just trying to work things out here, Southwest 147.
Air traffic control saying the plane was not aligned with the runway.
He was east of the final. He was not going to land the runway.
That flight diverting to Baltimore, where it landed safely. And David, Southwest tells ABC News that the flight encountered turbulence and low visibility at LaGuardia and that it is reviewing this case. David.
Gio Benitez with us tonight. Gio, thank you. Tonight, the major global headline, President Biden's tense phone call with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urging an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. This photo taken during the call. The president warning that the U.S. help could now be conditional depending on what's done to help ease the humanitarian crisis. And just in tonight, what the Israeli media is now reporting, what the Israeli military has apparently now done in the wake of that deadly strike, killing 7 aid workers in that marked convoy. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, a major shift from the White House. In a tense 30-minute phone call, President Biden bluntly warning Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to take concrete steps to protect civilians in Gaza, or the U.S. will be forced to reassess its support for Israel's war.
If there are not changes to their approach, it is very likely we're going to change our approach.
It comes as the president has grown increasingly frustrated and outraged as the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza only grows more dire. This is the first time he's spoken with Netanyahu since Israeli airstrikes killed 7 aid workers delivering food for the World Central Kitchen. One of those workers, a dual American citizen, 33-year-old Jacob Flickinger. Tonight, ABC News speaking with his partner.
I want people to know that he was a man of service and he wanted to help. He wanted to be brave in this situation and help these people that were in need.
On the phone with Netanyahu, the president demanding an immediate ceasefire and calling for Israel to dramatically increase humanitarian assistance, open additional crossings, and reduce violence against civilians and aid workers. Until now, Biden has resisted calls to limit or condition U.S. military assistance to Israel, the administration recently approving the delivery of thousands more bombs in coming years. I pressed the White House on what happens if Israel doesn't meet the president's demands.
The president seems to have said to the prime minister today, make these concrete changes or else. It's the or else that I want to make clear here. Is the president threatening to withhold aid to Israel if they do not make these changes?
The president made it clear that our policies with respect to Gaza will be dependent upon our assessment of how well the Israelis make changes and implement changes to make the situation in Gaza better for the Palestinian people.
And how much time are you giving them to make these changes, to implement these concrete steps?
Again, we would hope to see some announcements of changes here in coming hours and days, and I'll leave it at that.
And tonight, we are already seeing signs that Netanyahu is getting President Biden's message. Israel has just announced that it is going to be opening another border crossing to allow additional humanitarian aid into Gaza. And according to local media, the Israeli Defense Forces have just suspended 2 military commanders in response to the killing of those aid workers. David, tonight, the White House tells me they see this as a step in the right direction. The big question now, will this satisfy President Biden's demands? David.
Mary Bruce pressing the White House today on what the White House expects in the days ahead. Mary, thank you. Now to Dallas, where tonight the attorney for Kansas City Chiefs star Rashee Rice has confirmed Rice was driving the Lamborghini in that high-speed crash with a Corvette that slammed into several vehicles in Dallas, including one with a mother and a 4-year-old son. What is still not clear tonight is whether there will be charges. Maria Villarreal from Texas.
Tonight, through his attorney, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice says he was driving this Lamborghini, speeding down a busy highway in Dallas, losing control and causing a chain reaction crash.
Every question that was asked of him, he responded to the Dallas Police Department. And we will continue to cooperate with them.
The 6-car collision captured on this driver's dash cam shows Rice racing a Corvette, multiple drivers losing control, 2 of the 4 injured sent to the hospital. Nearly a week after the hit-and-run accident, Rice, who was not at this press conference, instead breaking his silence overnight through social media, taking full responsibility, posting, "I sincerely apologize to everyone impacted."
He's going to be responsible for making certain that the victims are made whole as best possible.
David, I did ask why Rice would walk away from the scene without checking to see if anybody needed help, but his attorney said with the possibility of charges being filed as of right now, he can't release that information just yet because it's now a part of the criminal investigation. David.
Maria Villarreal in Fort Worth tonight. Maria, thank you. Now to Los Angeles, where tonight they are investigating one of the biggest cash heists in L.A. history. Up to $30 million in cash stolen on Easter. How thieves got in and out. Victor Kendo from Los Angeles tonight.
Tonight, one of the largest cash heists in L.A. history. The LAPD and FBI now investigating the theft of up to $30 million from a money storage facility, according to law enforcement sources. Those sources saying the theft happened in this Garda World facility in Sylmar. The thieves entering the building through the roof Easter Sunday. They then accessed the money storage area, which may have been a vault. No alarms were set off. The next day, the company noticing the money had been stolen. Part of the side of the building now boarded up.
These take a lot of planning. These are folks probably a little older that know how to organize, that probably have done surveillance, that may have inside information, and they planned this out.
A facility employee shocked, asking not to be identified.
The place is pretty secured. Alarm system, they check to make sure that the alarm is set up. It's a shocker.
Facilities like this one store money and valuables for companies and individuals. Garda World has not commented, and so far, police do not have any suspects. David?
All right, Victor, thank you. Overseas tonight into the deadly earthquake in Taiwan. Tonight, the urgent search for survivors. Hundreds remain stranded or trapped. 7 Americans were among those rescued just today. Marcus Moore with the harrowing new images just now emerging.
Tonight, shocking new dashcam video circulating online showing the moment a boulder crashes onto a road and into a car, triggered by that powerful earthquake in Taiwan. Just one day after the island was hit by its most powerful quake in nearly a quarter century, new video showing nurses in a maternity ward scrambling to hold the baby bassinet steady during the tremors. Emergency efforts now underway in the mountainous region of Hualien. Firefighters airlifting out the injured. 7 Americans among those rescued today. Excavators clearing roads in the search for hundreds of people still trapped or missing, many of them in Taroko National Park, a popular tourist attraction. This group of hotel workers stranded in an open tunnel on the side of a gorge, waving to a drone that was sent to see if they were okay. David Chen, a security manager at the hotel, finally reuniting with his family, describing his harrowing rescue. As we were leaving, rocks were still falling, Chen adding, he's lucky to have survived. The quake leaving more than 70 miners trapped in rock quarries. Authorities tonight saying dozens of them have been freed. And in the city, crews demolishing badly damaged buildings, fearing they might collapse even more. But experts say Taiwan's strict building codes and rigorous earthquake preparedness has helped keep the death toll relatively low.
David, that death toll has risen to 10, with hundreds still trapped or missing, and there's worry that rain over the next few days could complicate the rescue efforts. David.
Marcus Moore again tonight. Marcus, thank you. Back in this country, in a major setback for Donald Trump tonight, a Florida judge rejecting Trump's attempt to have the classified records case thrown out. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a Florida federal judge rejecting Donald Trump's effort to get the classified documents case against him thrown out of court. Trump had argued the Presidential Records Act gave him the right to take those classified documents and that the case should be dismissed. Judge Eileen Cannon, who Trump appointed to the bench, ruling that the case should go forward. But in her ruling, the judge also takes a swipe at special counsel Jack Smith, rejecting his call to explain her controversial suggestion that she might instruct a jury to consider Trump's claims that the classified documents were his personal property. Smith called that notion fundamentally flawed and wrong, insisting it would distort the trial. He demanded that the judge clarify her intentions. Tonight, Judge Cannon refusing to do so, writing, "The court declines that demand as unprecedented and unjust."
Judge Cannon is suggesting she's in no rush to resolve a potential clash over jury instructions, telling the special counsel he can try to force her hand if he wishes by appealing. David.
Pierre, thank you. When we come back here, the images just coming in tonight. There's been a deadly crane collapse coming down and crushing a car. And then, Rob, with the all-important forecast tonight, who will see this solar eclipse? Tonight, a deadly crane collapse on a bridge in Fort Lauderdale. Part of the crane falling onto the Southeast 3rd Avenue bridge, crushing a car beneath. A construction worker falling to his death. 3 people driving on the bridge were injured. They are now investigating the cause tonight. When we come back, the incredible thing tonight about the women's Final Four versus the men's. The ticket prices, you got to see this. And Rob, and who will see the solar eclipse? To the index, and we love this, the women of the Final Four. Thanks in part to Iowa star Caitlin Clark and the rest of the women. The average price of a ticket is now $2,323. UConn plays Iowa tomorrow. NC State plays South Carolina. Tickets, by the way, for the men's games averaging less than half that, $1,001.21 each. When we come back here tonight, the solar eclipse, the American man at 105. This will be his 13th eclipse. And Rob's forecast, who has the best chance to see this? Finally tonight here, the solar eclipse on Monday afternoon. We'll be on the air live here showing you the whole thing. But imagine if this was your 13th eclipse. Tonight, preparing for the eclipse across America. It's on Monday, and we'll be on the air live right here on ABC to show you the whole thing Monday afternoon. And in Fort Worth, Texas, no one is more excited than Laverne Beiser, 105 years old.
It's a picture of the sun.
He's been chasing eclipses for decades. It all started in 1963, packing his Oldsmobile station wagon, driving more than 2,000 miles from Fort Worth all the way to Maine. That's him with his own instruments, capturing it all. Laverne and his wife Marion seeing 12 eclipses together over 60 years. New Mexico back in 72, Williston, North Dakota in 79. He took that picture. And in 2017, watching from Beatrice, Nebraska. This year, the eclipse coming right through Texas. Laverne won't have to go far. And right here tonight.
Hi, David.
Laverne on his 13th eclipse at 105.
Corona opens up, and that's a beautiful sight to see. So if you're close to the path of totality, be sure to drive in there and see it.
Millions of Americans like Laverne will be along the path of totality, more than 2,000 miles long across 15 states. And as of tonight, who will get the clearest view? Here's Rob.
Yeah, David, it's a little bit more complicated with this eclipse because it's coming in early spring where the atmosphere is obviously more active, and it's going to be that way in Texas. Unfortunately, threat for severe weather the day of the eclipse in Texas. So clouds are going to be an issue. Places like Waco and Tyler and even Dallas. And the overall flow is not really a dry one. So cities up the line like Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Buffalo, hopefully just some thin clouds, but I think that area is going to be touch and go day of. What looks best for clear viewing right now is in northern New England, including Burlington, where you will be stationed, David. I mean, we certainly hope, and we're rooting for everybody to have a clear sky of this eclipse come Monday. David?
Thank you, Rob. Rob will be in Niagara Falls. Laverne, of course, will be in Texas. We're hoping for a perfect view for you, Laverne. He lost his wife, Marion, last year. He's going to be watching for her. And you could watch on ABC, ABC News and National Geographic Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.